Hey everyone, John Newman here. Thank you for downloading this episode of Card Mensches. Myself and Danny Black of Hobby News Daily would like to remind you this is a live show every other Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It can be found on most of our social medias. Danny's at Sportsball and Hobby News Daily. I am Sports Card Nation Podcast. And it can be found on our YouTube channels. At Hobby News Daily, Sports Card Nation Podcast, at Sportsball, and at Card Mensches. So with that being said, we hope to see you very soon on a Friday night in our very active chat room. Now let's start the show.
For more than 30 years, Robert Edward Auctions has been the nation's premier auction house, specializing in sports memorabilia and trading cards. With significant experience and expertise in all major sport, non-sport, and Americana collectibles, REA has helped clients achieve record-breaking prices for their items and has done so with a reputation for integrity and transparency. By actively partnering with collectors and enthusiasts throughout the entire process, REA has created the hobby's most trusted forum for selling high-quality collectibles. Go to robertedwardauctions.com for more information on how to buy or sell in their next auction.
I'm Danny Black.
And I'm John Newman.
Welcome to Card Mensches.
Well, hello, and welcome to, what did we decide? This was episode number 27 of Card Mensches?
Yeah, 27. Who would have thunk it?
I think I owe you money. I think I took the under. But I'm Danny, that's John, and we are Card Mensches. And tonight we're talking about something that's very near and dear to my heart. I live in Baltimore. I spend a lot of time and help out at the Babe Ruth Museum, and so we're talking a little 1914 Baltimore News Babe Ruth. Unless you've been under a rock and you're in the hobby, it made some news and sold for $7.2 million this week, and so I think we want to break it down a little bit. How you doing, John, and what do you think?
Well, I was the runner-up bidder in that, so I'm a little bit bitter that I have to talk about this card as the non-winner of it, but I'm not a poor loser, so I think I can suck it up and do it. It's funny, full transparency. We have two sponsors of this show, and they just happen to be SGC, which the card's graded by, and REA, Robert Edward Auctions, which sold the card. So, but this is not this is a big story. So I don't care who. It could have been a PSA card and graded by and sold by another auction house. We still would have done it. I just find it pretty. It brings a smile to my face that both of those are sponsors of this show. So,
well, obviously a good taste, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the auction. I mean, I'm sorry you didn't win, but in all seriousness, third highest record all time. Just short of, I think, the Honus Wagner went for $7.25 million, and this was $7.2 million, and then of course the Mantle at $12.5 million. So those are the top three. If you had your choice, which one are you take?
Oh man, I gotta go with this one. I just think there's less of them than the other ones. I know it's some people would probably go other direction, but I mean, I guess that's the first question. Let me ask you. I mean, how many do you think of these exist? I'm not just
10.
talking graded. I'm just talking
10
copies of the card.
10.
10. Yeah, think
That's
about that.
It's unbelievable.
Like barely two hands. So
if you have 11 fingers, it's barely. If you have 10 fingers, it's all of them.
Well, if you're Linda Cohn, if we're using feet,
right,
it's less than Linda Cohn's toes.
I think that's the
From
Rex
ESPN
Ryan measure.
fame.
That's how Rex Ryan measures.
What's this Baltimore flavored show?
It didn't mean to be, but yeah. So, no, in all seriousness, so out of those three cards, you're going, you like the Ruth?
I do. I won't throw any of them out of bed, but I mean, I think just on scarcity alone, And the other thing, I was wrong. I thought this was going to break the all-time record. We're going to have to talk about, how crazy is that we're talking about a $7 million card, and it to me fell short of expectations. I thought it was going to be number one when the smoke cleared.
It's hard to, like you said, it's hard to imagine 7.2 million, third highest sale ever for a card, highest Babe Ruth item ever. And you think it fell short? What's up, Hodges?
Yeah. I went on my show and I think even Hobby Highline, I said this is gonna be the new placeholder. It wasn't, but it still brought. I mean, $7 million is $7 million, and everyone seems happy with it. I haven't heard. REA was. I'm sure is happy with it. I'm gonna guess. I don't know this for sure. It's their probably biggest selling item ever. So that set a record probably for them. I just thought it was going to bring. Someone asked me, and I said I think 13 million.
Yeah,
I was wrong.
I think you and I actually are in a group where there was a poll about what they thought it would sell for, and I clicked on I think it was 10 to 12 million range, or 12 to 13. I thought it would set the record.
Yeah, I did too. What? So I guess maybe the first question we should tackle tonight, Danny, is why do you think that didn't happen?
Well, somebody brought up something, and I don't know if there's anything to it, and I don't know if you agree, but they said the physical look of the card is not as nice as, let's say, the 52 Mantle or the T206 Wagner. So let's look at the card first.
Yeah, I mean it's a plain looking card. I mean it's not the 52 Tops Mantle. I'll agree with that. One of the things I noticed, it's look at the. I mean I've never seen the card in person. You have, so maybe you're better to talk about this. But this got a 3, and then looking at it quickly, is it overgraded? I guess is the nice way to say it.
That's a great question. It's graded the way I wish they graded all cards. I think that's an accurate 3. I think most of the time an accurate 3 comes back at 2. So I think it's a 3. I just think that they're usually tougher. But I think it's a gorgeous card. I love the original, print. I love the fact that it was a newspaper distribution. To me, I love the fact that it's in color from 1914 at all is amazing.
I mean, this card is before he even played in the big leagues.
Oh yeah, this is hey Brennan, and this comment, it would have passed the Victor rookie card test. No, Victor feels strongly that this is not a rookie, that it's a pre-rookie.
When there's only 10 copies of a card, though, Danny, I don't care. Rookie, 10th year card, you know what I mean? Like there's only 10 of these in existence, most likely. So it's scarce. And everyone loves pop reports, right? How many exist? How many have been graded? This thing is a pop report darling.
Speaking of pop report, here's my pop. Cheers. L'chaim.
We need Coke to sponsor the show now. Now we really have it made.
I'm like Mean Joe Green. I truly believe that this is the coolest of the 3 cards.
It's the scarcest. It's the
the scarcest. It's the coolest. It's Babe Ruth. It's Babe effing Ruth. I don't, it's just like, it blows my mind that we have Paul Bunyan. We have this legend of the hobby in the sport. I mean, really, and here's the card. Here is the first card. And I think the 52 Mantle is not a rookie either. And I think that's become kind of the logo card of the hobby, but it's I think more sizzled than steak there. And the Wagner is cool, but it's not even the rarest card in the set.
Yeah, Brendan Ryan, his comment. I don't know if there's only 10, but not pack pooled and regional for starters. He's not wrong, so I'm not going to tell him he's wrong.
Yep.
We like Brendan, but the fact remains. There's only 10 of these. When this card was made, Babe Ruth wasn't Babe Ruth yet, so it wasn't like it was easy to make this. Oh, we got to make a card of a superstar. He wasn't a superstar yet, and I mean, in a sense, you could probably call this a minor league card.
Well, I mean, it really was because he wasn't there long. That was part of the craziness of it. And if you notice, it says Ruth pitcher. It doesn't say Babe Ruth on there.
Yeah.
And this is a great point. Brendan says the SGC3 is the highest grade of that color variation. There is a blue version also.
It's like the Cal Ripken minor league.
Right, exactly. The police car, just like that. It all comes back to Baltimore minor leagues. But do you think that the 52 Mantle is a prettier card and that helps the value aesthetically?
Yeah, I mean that's an iconic card. Like my wife, who doesn't know anything about cards, probably recognizes that card, right? So yeah, there's something to that. To say otherwise is not, it's not being honest. I mean that's a better looking card. I don't think anyone will argue that.
But does that add to the value when you're buying?
Oh, I think it is based on what price is realized, right? I mean, the Mantle still holds the record now, and not the Ruth.
Well,
I thought it would be, but and so did you. So we both missed. I just go back to that. The fact there's only 10, man. When you really think about that, I want to say hi to Mark Hoyle. You're exactly right, Mark. Well, you're close. I was the second bidder. I just lost. And I tried to get back in. I couldn't. So maybe a John bought it, just not this one. I don't know. That's the other thing. We don't know. We don't know the buyer. I will tell you this. It wasn't Marshall Fogel. Shameless plug. I just had him on the show in back-to-back weeks. And this on the part 2, this card was talked about by us. And he has a criteria where he won't buy anything graded less than an 8. Says it's a wonderful card. He wouldn't mind owning it. He's just not going to pay what it would go for and not be an 8 or higher. So
that's unbelievable.
He's not the owner.
By the way, congratulations on the.
Yeah, that one was fun. I don't want to. I'll just say it was fun. He's the first time I got to talk to him, like, the lead up into the show. I've talked to him since the show. He's a different guy, in talking to him and getting to know him a little bit more. He's different than I thought he was.
Yeah.
So in a good way. So
let's catch up on a couple of notes here. Brendan Ryan says, I guess the price before close at $15.5 million, but wasn't aware of the SGC 4. Well, not in the red. That's
so there's a blue SGC 4.
Evidently, but that's not as rare.
Yeah.
So I want to. If somebody knows how many blues there are, my understanding is it's not close. Hodges says, so this is why Dr. Becky's been shopping the dollar box for so long, saving up for that Ruth. Yeah. That's very funny. So where do you put?
He'll put it on his ComC account. If he did win this, look for it on his ComC account shortly. Then we'll know.
He's hysterical with his. Do you think Jerry West, the logo of the NBA, is the best NBA player ever?
No, I don't think Jerry West is.
No, but he's the logo. That's how I feel about the 52 Mantle.
Yeah, it's a good analogy. The 52 Mantle, I mean, there's still a lot of them. I mean, not in high grades, obviously, but there's a lot of them that exist. Eric from those back pages acquired one via trade. Again, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record. There's 10 of these cards, man. And how many are great? Like how many are graded? What shape are they in? And it's Babe Ruth before he was Babe Ruth.
Well, like I said, it says Ruth, not Babe.
Yeah.
So literally, it was before Jack Dunn had him, and that's where he got the nickname Babe from, because they called him Jack Dunn's baby.
Yeah. There's plenty of Ruth cards that were made, Danny, you know this, like after his playing career was over. You got the 1948 Leaf, you got the 52 Look and See, and those are still Babe Ruth cards that bring pretty good chunk of change.
You've got the 4.
Here you have a card, but it was easy to make those cards because he was already a legend and his career was over. This, when they made this card, they had no idea what he was to become.
Would you take the 4 color variations or this one? The Gaudi, the 33 Gaudi 4 color.
Oh man, that's a good question. I still take this one. It comes back that there's just not that many.
Yeah,
And
because
you
those.
got a segment of the hobby. You know this, Danny. People with millions of dollars. You know, Marshall Fogel being one, although he wasn't in on this card, as he said on the show. But you have other people who have different criteria than him, but have still a lot of cash too. This is a crown. To me, it's a crown. One of the crown jewels.
Well, this was kind of the first asset that Collectible tried to kick off with when they launched. This was their big thing with them. So it's the owner of that, from that who sold the card.
Yeah, I mean, you got to see this card up close and in person. So this is I've only seen it via pictures.
Yeah.
I was hoping to see it up close in person when I finished second in the bidding, but that's not going to happen now.
I thought you were going to say when you come visit me and we went to the Babe Ruth Museum.
Well, yeah, now it's not there.
No, hopefully it is. Hopefully whoever ends up with it will put it on loan at the Babe Ruth Museum.
I hate to say this, but I have a feeling that's not going to happen. But
I have a feeling it won't either. But it was there. It was there for a while. The Babe Ruth Museum is a worthy place to house it. If you've never been there, if you're in Baltimore, it's one of the great baseball museums and sports museums.
Do we know anything about where the other ones are? Because I don't. That doesn't mean that no one else does.
My understanding was the last one that sold was 2010 or 2013, something like that. And that sold for, I thought, a couple $100,000.
Think about that statement right there, right? We're talking about the 52 Topps Mantle, the Wagner 206. One of those or more get sold every year of those cards, right? At least one, and usually multiple. Now you're talking about this Babe Ruth Baltimore News, and before this sale in 2023, the last sale was 13 years ago. That kind of tells you how the scarcity plays into it, and that's why I thought I was going to break the record.
So what piece of memorabilia would be better than that? What piece of memorabilia, even if we don't know if it exists, would break the record?
Now that this hasn't,
like Jackie Robinson's debut uniform. Like if that existed,
I think that would. Where is that? Like I don't
know. I don't know if it exists. I'm just saying, what in baseball history would be the greatest piece of memorabilia?
Yeah, I think if Jackie Robinson's uniform that he wore on the day he broke the color barrier ever went to sale via auction, it's going to break. It's going to break the highest.
25 million.
I mean, it's not a card, so. But it'll break whatever record. It'll be the highest piece of sports memorabilia / card, hobby. Let's put it this way, hobby item ever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We can make up the rules. It doesn't have to be a card.
Yeah.
I think the original, and this is somewhere, the original rules of baseball written down somewhere, to me, is one of the underrated things. Here's Mark Oil says, I believe the Hall of Fame has the official scorebook for Jackie's first game. That's a very cool piece. The lineup card.
I've loaned that to them, and they're only an hour and 10 minutes away, so I don't mind.
But what else in baseball history would sell for hit that range? We've got 3 cards at $7.2 million and higher. What other memorabilia even?
Well, I asked this question to you because you might know the answer to it. I don't. Where is that Ruth bat? When he the home run bat, like the last one,
when he called the shot.
Well, that bat. I mean, you know what I mean. You got that bat. You got the last home run, which was with the record until Aaron, and then
you got when he was with the Boston Braves.
Yeah. So stuff like that are significant pieces of history.
I would say, and these exist somewhere. Mark Hoyle might know this, but the signed letters of the Chicago Black Sox team, the confessing the guilt, some of the players. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, those would probably be up there. But I again, Babe Ruth is a whole nother category on his own.
Okay, would his debut jersey or Jackie Robinson's debut jersey go from?
I think Robinson, as crazy as that sounds, just because of the significance. They're both are $1 million items, obviously. I think that Jackie will bring more. If they both came to the sale, I think that the Jackie brings more. Could be wrong.
I'm putting this in the chat. See, I genuinely think that both of those would be pushing the $25 million.
Brendan brings up, like, I know that's not gonna bring $1 million, but where is that '89 Fleer FF bat from Billy Ripken?
Orlando thinks the Ruth jersey.
Orlando says the Ruth jersey. It's a great question.
That's why I asked it. I saved my bad questions for other shows.
Thank you for doing such.
This is a great one.
Yeah, the 56 gamer.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yep, that's probably a record that'll never be broken. How about? Well, I don't know how many bats, but when Ted Williams batted 400, I don't know how many bats were involved in that year, but that has some significance.
Brendan Ryan says for the Bill Ripken bat, he made a replica of that bat as a kid.
I think a lot of people, I probably some Eastern like aluminum bats that have that on the end of it for little league photo shoots.
Oh, that's funny. There's probably a lot of kids who did that. Mookie says the Jackie jersey would go for more. The Ruth debut jersey wouldn't have a number or name. Jackie at least has 42. That's an interesting.
Yeah. That's a good point.
How about
there's some
Lou Gehrig's jersey from the last game of his streak?
Lou Gehrig, or during the speech, the you know what I mean, his farewell speech. I mean, there's so many iconic baseball moments that those pieces of memorabilia, would be crazy to own.
Mookie says the Ruth jersey didn't even have the Fanatics rookie debut patch. Yeah, it was really a bland jersey now that we talk about it. So, I mean, those would be $25 million.
You think so?
What do you think?
Man, they would break records for sure. That's a lot of cash, but
if a 52 mantle can pull $12.5 million, Jackie.
Yeah, no, I agree. It would. I'd be shocked if it didn't beat that. It would go past that.
Oh, I would think it would go way past that.
Yeah.
I mean, the historical significance. You'd have people bidding on it who are not just sports fans.
Yeah, you would. You would just have rich people who just wanted the item.
Museums.
Yeah. Well, you'd have even people, like you just said, people who aren't card collectors. Like, this isn't a card. They just say, I want to have, add Jackie's debut uniform in my mansion and have a room and so.
All right, can I fess up to everybody what I did on my online betting?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I, it's legal in Maryland to wager on your cell phone, and I was going to take the over in the Wizards game for $5. I'm a very small bettor, so $5, and I went to enter it, and I accidentally double tapped, and I hit 50 somehow. So I have a $50 bet on the Wizards Nets game going on the over of 228. There is no way this game's going to hit the over.
If you double tap, it should be $55.
Well, the buttons they have like preset amounts next to each other.
I got you. Yeah.
And so it wasn't.
Well, you better hope it's a shootout.
We're at 178 points with 8:37 remaining. I need 50 points in 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think you lost your money.
Okay, so that gives me a good one. How about is there any value to like Kobe's debut jersey or Jordan's debut jersey? Do they even compare? Or Wilt?
They compare, but it's more modern. So
what about Wilt Chamberlain?
Yeah, but he doesn't. To me, Wilt Chamberlain doesn't have the same cachet as a Ruth or a Jackie Robinson. No offense to Wilt Chamberlain.
Mickey Mantle's debut jersey?
That'd be in the mix. Some other items that what would be like. We could talk about some other, like the Willie Mays behind the back catch on Rick Wirtz. How about that ball or glove?
That glove would be an amazing one.
Yeah,
Mark Jeffrey Mayer
again, too kind of modern. I think you go back to vintage.
What's up, Ruben? We're still here. Don't worry.
You know what I mean? I think when you get into more modern baseball, there's just less exotic compared to the vintage era. Back in the vintage era, man, they played with one uniform for like a whole season, one or two.
All right.
Like now they have a new jersey every game. So there's you know what I mean? It
Are
just
you saying it's worth more because it's smellier?
but could be might have some moth holes in it. I don't. There's just less of them, right? Like today, the
Without a doubt.
players trade jerseys. They're wearing a different uniform every night rather
Well,
than.
even back to Emmett Smith, didn't he wear a different cleats or a different jersey every quarter when he set the record?
Oh, you mean on purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. I
happy
think.
Hanukkah to everybody. Tonight is the
Yes.
second night. A happy Hanukkah.
8 crazy nights.
I know. Well, so my wife is away, so I'm alone with the boys. My daughter and my wife are not here. And we talk about 8 crazy nights. It's like a fraternity house. They've been gone for 6 hours, and this place is already upside down.
Like how
Orlando Ty Cobb jersey. I've never seen one. That's a great item. That's a great item.
Yeah.
How about his spikes?
I was thinking that, he's famous for, especially if they have blood on him.
Well, that would be Kurt Schilling's sock.
Kurt Schilling's sock, I don't know where it is, who owns it. That would probably bring more than we think.
I hope not.
I'm not saying it's going to bring millions, but it probably brings more than just because of the history.
I think it was sold. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was sold, but
Yeah.
I think it's disgusting, and I'd much rather have the Ty Cobb jersey.
Yeah, Brendan Ryan mentions Wilt's the year he played for the Harlem Globetrotters, that uniform.
Schilling sock is in the Hall of Fame.
I think so. I think it is. I think I saw it there at some point too. Now that
Wow.
he said that. Yep. Clemente stuff. We mentioned first home run bat.
That would be a great. Yeah. Well, how about Clemente's bat from his last hit?
Yep.
I'm at the end of the season. Number 3,000.
Thurman Munson's my guy. What about some of his last stuff? Would be an unexpected death, right?
But Clemente ended on 3,000 hits, so that bat would be the 3,000th hit, the last hit. I think
that might be in the Hall of Fame too. I'm pretty sure I remembered seeing that there, or there's something there is a Clemente bat in the Hall of Fame. I'm thinking it's that one.
If not, Marshall Fogel probably has it.
He has a lot of stuff.
Well, his bat collection is legendary.
It is probably second to the Hall of Fame. I'm not even joking. Like that's. Yeah.
We should find out from him.
And some of his stuff is at the Hall of Fame that he owns it. He's letting them display it.
Well, if Marshall, if you want to come on Card Mensches, and we're here.
I'll mention. Listen, I'll let's see if we can get. I'm gonna try. That's something we can try for.
Tell them two nice boys. Just want to chat.
How about that guy? I gotta say one thing about. I don't want to make this, but I know I talked to you off the air about this. He was in the IDF, right? And I knew that, but what I didn't realize, I thought he did it when he was a younger man.
Well, that's when you usually go in, yeah.
Yeah, he did that as a 60. He did that 13 years ago when he was 68 years old and rode tanks for a couple years at age 68.
That's unbelievable.
I'm 51. I probably can't even climb up into this thing.
I changed a light bulb and ran around the house celebrating. Are you kidding? I carried the old bulb around like an Olympic gold medal, showing everybody the work I had done.
68 years old. This guy's serving on a tank battalion. That's insane.
He's a better person than us, but we, Thank you, Orlando.
So, I mean, there's so many iconic things, but I think I'm biased. But Jackie's first year. I mean, where is? I'd love to just even know, like, does it exist? Was it destroyed?
I wonder if his wife
saved.
I wonder if Rachel had it.
Yeah, I think we know though. It'd be in his museum. It'd be in there's a new. I have to get there. I haven't been there yet. In New York, Jackie Robinson Museum. So I think we know that, and I didn't hear anything about them having that. So
how about the ball that crossed the goal line in the the Colts, the Giants, the greatest game ever played.
Yeah, that would be iconic. I mean, I think baseball artifacts hold a different lore though than other sports.
You
You
think?
agree with that?
I think for that type of money, I think God, I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm sure the Franco Harris ball is probably somewhere, and I'm sure there's a Pittsburgh fan that would pay seven figures for that.
Yeah.
This is a great.
Yeah. How about the Buckner ball?
Well, I'll get to that. How many treasures are in private collections that never see the marketplace?
Yeah, that's a very
That's
good
exactly
point.
what you were saying. With
And we don't even know who owns them.
And Ruben says, John, how would you like to have the game use unis from Buckner and Mookie Wilson in Game 6 in the 86 World Series? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy. I almost rather have that ball, though.
You know the story. After the game, Bill was so upset. He wanted to end his life. He walked right into traffic, but the car went through his legs.
How about
Orlando says Jackie's Negro League uniform would be his first. That's a good call.
Yeah, Kansas City Monarchs.
How about Satchel Paige's first?
Yeah, another iconic item. I mean, they're just so many.
Mookie wants to know if there's a boo emoji.
Yes. Well, how about Upper Deck? Talking about the Buckner deal. Upper Deck, I think it was 89. They made a Buckner 89 Upper Deck card. And, the roll tarp, how it's on a roll. They shot at an angle where that was literally between his legs. And it was done intentionally. And then Upper Deck admitted it years later. So,
I mean, it's one thing for me to make a joke, but I wouldn't make a card out.
Yeah, they did. They did some other stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ruben said I must be doing some open mic nights. Ruben, I my wife's out of town. I've got a cold Coke. It's just good times.
Well, Danny's the fifth impractical joker. He didn't make the cut, and I was the fourth Beastie Boys, and I didn't make the cut there. So that's why we do this show.
Well, and I think, speaking of which, I was not the fifth Beatle, but we should pay a little bit of homage to John Lennon on the anniversary of his passing today.
Oh, yeah.
43rd anniversary.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I remember when that happened. I was watching TV, 7 years old, 8 years old, and they broke into the news. And I talked about on Sports Card Nation, my earliest, when I learned what death was two people's death, John Lennon and Thurman Munson. Well,
they did the feature on Howard Cosell on Monday Night Football, was the one breaking the Lennon news.
Yeah, and I was watching that, as a kid,
right?
And I remember very, vividly, and then Thurman Munson's passing as well. And it was at that point in my life, I hadn't had any family members pass away, so I had no inkling what the finale of life was all about, and that's how I unfortunately learned is through two people I liked, with Thurman Munson being the big one. That one is the first time I cried over somebody passing away.
Well, shout out to Thurman on John Lennon's passing.
Yeah, no, I know it's not the same date, but
you kind of
around the same era. You know what I mean? So,
which what would sell for more? Do you think music memorabilia or sports memorabilia?
I think they're both similar.
Well, recently the Beatles had an autographed baseball from their last appearance at Shea Stadium. It was signed by all of them, and it was in the auction recently, and it sold for just under $200,000.
Yeah,
and that's just an autographed baseball from them from their last show. What if you had their Ed Sullivan outfits?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. I think the ball, 200,000 is 200,000, but two of them are still around, so they're still signing. I think that's a factor there. But like you said, their first outfits from the Ed Sullivan show, that would probably be $1 million. So it would if they're all of them, that's probably $1 million items as a group.
Yeah. And it's funny because musicians always want to be athletes and athletes always want to be musicians.
Yeah. And when you think of things that are important to people, right? Sports and music are right there both.
Okay. So let's bring this full circle. The Babe Ruth card sold for undervalue. This is what we've.
I thought it was going to bring 13 million. That's what someone asked me. That was my prediction. So I was, if this was the Price is Right, I overbid. I'm not going to be in the showcase showdown.
Is that the market or the card?
Sorry, Bob. What? I should have bid $1. I should.
Don't rush to judgment, Ruben. But do you think it's the card or the market that it's? Do you think it's a soft market?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. I think it's the market.
Yep, Orlando, I agree with you.
I said 13. So here's what I think. I think the market has softened. Obviously, I don't think anyone will argue with that from 2 years ago in the COVID pandemic and the crescendo there. Whoever the buyer is at plus $7 million here, they might be a great buy, because when things change again, and they will at some point, I don't know when, but you put it back on the market, maybe it hits that 8-figure mark like we thought it was gonna.
Ruben,
someone might have got a steal. How's this sound for crazy? Someone might have got a steal at $7 million.
I was just gonna say that. Do you think this goes back to market in 5 years and ends up being a $15 million card?
I wouldn't say no. I think it's a possibility.
All right, let's talk about something else that we both noticed. The Mantle at $12.5 million, the Wagner at 7.25, and the Ruth at 7.2. The 3 highest selling cards of all time, all graded by SGC.
Yeah, feather in their cap, right? And they're definitely using that in some of their pub, and rightfully so. I mean, I think they've always been considered like a vintage grading company, and some people will tell you they're a better vintage grading company than PSA, and I wouldn't even argue that. But I think they've even in modern cards, they've kind of closed that gap too. So obviously it's good publicity, right? Ruben is now our official engineer of the show.
Ruben, we're going to give you the login so you can produce for us. That's hysterical. Ruben, you know what? We've never done this before. If anybody wants to come on with us, I'll drop the link in. You want to risk it, John? Let's see what happens.
Listen, we got a great chat room, so I wouldn't, So, well, you might as well play the SGC because it is a good segue.
All right, and because we got to make the 3 highest graded cards of all time.
Experience, quality, consistency, and the quickest turnaround times in the grading industry. We are proud to partner with SGC Grading. Check them out at www.gosgc.com.
There we go.
But yeah, I mean, how crazy is that? That the 3 highest selling individual cards are all SGC graded cards, man. Like that's a big deal.
Does that raise the value of SGC cards in the market?
I don't know if it raises all cards, but it definitely is a good look, right? It's definitely not that they needed that to legitimize what they do. They've been around 20 years. Like it's not like they're a new company.
They were around before PSA. People forget that.
So it's just a great feather in their cap until a PSA card like gets in between those. They have the top 3.
We got Ruben joining us.
Bring her. Hey, look at he's our first live guest. Not advertised guest.
How you doing, Ruben? You're on, Ruben. How you doing?
Oh,
there you go. Happy Hanukkah. So far, I think it's going well.
Ruben, I will say, man, the chat room is great. I'm not Ruben. Some of the comments are just hilarious. Mookie Chilson makes me laugh. Right? Sometimes I do this show not for just the chat room.
Hi, Ruben. That was fantastic, Ruben. Thanks for joining us. We should do that again. If anybody wants to come in, Mookie's at work. Nobody rat him out. No, we'd love to have people in here talking.
He's back. He's back.
He's back. All right.
I couldn't hear anything earlier. My bad.
No, how you doing?
There we go.
I'm doing fine.
Thanks for jumping in. So what have you been up to?
I wouldn't say hobby burnout, but being thrifty on it.
So you didn't buy the Ruth?
Well, I
No,
think Ruben came on to say he did buy the Ruth.
I couldn't get the liquid assets that quick to work out that much. With the holidays and everything, I had to be through.
That's very funny. So you got anything planned for the holidays?
Still in the process of trying to find gifts for certain people.
Yes.
It gets harder every year. Like, I'm 51 years old, and I'm worse at Christmas as a 51-year-old than I was when I was 30 something or 30.
Well, everybody's getting to the certain point where they don't want anything for them. It's like, hey, get it for the family. Okay.
But that's not a bad thing. Then I can kind of interject a little myself in that if when my wife makes that kind of request. So
I got some ideas for my brother-in-law today. It's like, okay, I didn't even think of that. So do some research for Zoom memberships.
yeah.
John,
What?
are you doing Christmas with the tree?
We haven't done any decorating. We haven't done any decorating yet, so I don't know.
Do you have a Jackie Robinson ornament?
Ornament? Oh yeah, come on. That's what kind of question is that?
Ruben, are you doing Hanukkah?
No, I'm not actually Jewish.
You're not actually Jewish. That's awesome. So you're doing Christmas.
Sorry to
Turns out I'm the
disappoint.
only Jewish guy at Card Mensches.
Listen, I have Jewish. When I was younger, you know this story, Danny. But for everyone else, right? We kind of did both. I know that's sort of weird, but as I got older, it's just Christmas. But I definitely respect, my heritage. So
I made John take a 23andMe before we could launch Card Mensches.
yeah, and I think I got more Jewish in me than you do.
I'm not sure about that, but
I guess just wait for the national. He can give you some more.
Ruben, thank you for jumping on. We're
no
wrapping
problem.
up.
Yeah, man.
No, seriously,
And listen,
we appreciate you every week.
I appreciate you guys putting up with fun.
Yeah, Ruben and everybody, man. This show, I don't know what you guys are getting out of it, but we have a blast, and the chat room is great, and some of the comments are I even think about them after the show's over. They're that funny and entertaining. So, and listen, if it wasn't for you guys and the people who download the audio version who may not be here right at the moment, right, we're talking to ourselves. And while me and Danny might think that's funny, no one else would.
Take it easy, guys.
Take care, Ruben.
Thanks, Ruben.
That was fun. It turns out that Ruben Snyder is not Jewish.
Well, listen, we can't. Not everyone can be.
No,
But you know what? Ruben is still a mensch.
Well, the mensch part is our entire chat room.
Yeah, we have a lot of mensches.
And in fact, if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to put it up here because we have. I will take this. As much fun and as smart collectors and quick-witted people every week.
Yeah. And if you didn't know what mensch meant, I'm sure most people do now if you're this far in here in episode 27. But for those that don't, like if someone calls you a mensch, it almost sounds like if you didn't know what it actually meant, it almost sounds like it would be bad. Like, you're a mensch. And if you didn't know, you'd probably take offense to it.
It sounds like something you get on your shirt. Like, I got a little mensch, just... But no, seriously, a shout out to everybody for making our Friday nights a lot of fun.
And since we're doing Yiddish lessons, I know you know this, Danny, but so maybe some others don't. The Yiddish word for shit is Drek. So when the next time you're at Drek Subs, I want you to think about that. Not a sponsor, probably won't be now, but just keep that in mind.
I'm Kevin Mensch. The biggest head in baseball history, I believe, actually, circumference-wise. They had to get him a custom hat. That's a true story.
I'm probably second.
Well,
7 5/8.
Oh, you mean literally? Because with your ego, I wasn't sure. Hodges says that's nice, Danny. Don't mention it. Oh, dad jokes. We can never have enough dad jokes. I was talking to my wife about Giannis when he would start all his press conferences with his book of jokes, and they were all dad jokes. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever, to start every press conference with a dad joke.
Every speech you start with a joke. It could be a dad joke, I guess.
Absolutely. What's the only type of bagel that can fly? Plane.
It's so dumb. It's good.
It's no worse than don't mention it. All right.
Listen, we got even Dr. Jim like using Mensch now. Like,
he's a regular Mensch user now.
Yeah, like it's catching on.
Well, I think it's made it 10,000 years. You know.
Well, here's what's funny about the word Mensch. Like, obviously, it's a Yiddish word, but it's become part of like English language too. Like, it's one of those that crossed over.
Mookie's killing me tonight. That's totally fair, Mookie. Totally fair. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up. They didn't cover. They missed by like 8 points.
Yeah, you lost.
Boy, did I lose.
Somebody's getting a little bit less in their stocking now.
Oh, I gotta tell you, I'm really pissed off. That really sucks. For those of you that missed it earlier, I made an accidental bet, and I just lost.
So now Hanukkah for you has been shortened to 7 days.
There's no Hanukkah miracle tonight.
Dad lost the over and a mistake bet. So Hanukkah is 7 days this year instead of 8.
Ruben found the boo emoji. Well, Orlando, thank you. It was entertaining for us as well.
We say this every week. I'm not going to drone on about it, but again, guys, without you in the chat room, those of you who are even listening after the fact on audio, hey, every other Friday, 9 o'clock, we'd love to have you be part of the chat. But just the same, we appreciate you downloading the show. You don't have to do that, yet you do. So we appreciate everybody. This show is fun for us as it is, I hope, for everyone else. It might be more fun for us than everyone else, but I hope everyone else have a little fun and a little entertainment value. And we do stuff a little different, right? I know we took a little heat for the Hobby Burnout show, though.
Did we?
Yeah, a little bit. Like, hey, man, everyone's talking about that. Which we try to do different stuff, but
the people got burned out on the burnt out.
The people got burned out on the burnout.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon. It's very appreciated, guys. I hope you know how much those comments mean to. I mean, sincerely. Yeah. And Stephen, good to see you. Happy Hanukkah to you and your family. And
and whatever you celebrate, whatever holiday season, merry whatever. Right.
Well, I was about to say, I think our next episode is going to be on the 22nd. So that'll be our Christmas Card Mensches episode. How's that? We're going to have a Christmas episode on Card Mensches.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the topic's going to be. We got some time, but
it would be, what does Santa collect? Or he only collects people with big beards.
Yeah. Or we could go like all the Santa cards that were produced by like card companies.
Oh, absolutely.
Like Crowset, Tops, Upper Deck did one, I know. I think every card company's produced the Santa card at some point, and in many cases, multiple.
I will be there on the 25th with Chinese food also. The movies and Chinese food.
In the movies. I was going to say, don't forget the movie.
Gotta go. It'll be movies and Chinese food on the 25th, without a doubt. God bless my Chinese friends. Without them, I don't know how I would eat on Christmas. Parker's Hockey made a Santa one also.
I think everyone's made a Santa card.
Well, he's got terrible management. He needs an exclusive deal.
So that begs the question: what is Santa's rookie card?
It's probably a pre-rookie.
Yeah, we'll have to get Victor. And hey, what is Santa's rookie card expert. What is Santa's rookie official?
Does Mrs. Claus have any cards?
Yeah, she has cards too.
Are they tasteful? Because I feel like you got to make her tasteful.
Yeah, I haven't seen any bad ones.
Okay,
So
that's good.
that I'm aware of. I'm sure someone's had fun with Photoshop, but I haven't seen that yet.
How about we end on Mrs. Claus cards, and that's how we're gonna finish.
Yeah. Well, one last thing I want to throw out there, Danny, and so again, we just praise everyone in the chat, everyone listening to the show. If anyone has a topic they want us to cover or tackle, by all means, our door's always open. Let us know, and maybe we'll do it.
Miss Claus has autos in the holiday mega boxes.
I saw that. That's right. He's not kidding. That's actually true.
Okay, then excuse. Maybe I'm ignorant here. I'm not trying to be funny.
Santa fractors.
Right.
Mookie's idea.
But who's signing Mrs. Claus? And are they really putting on the card that it was witnessed by an employee of so-and-so?
So my guess it's a German lady. Mrs. Claus. I don't know.
When she was younger, she was a beer wench. But now she's grown into...
Yeah, she used to be employed by Heineken, and now she signs Mrs. Claus cards for products. So she's continued her career. She was a Heineken model. She got a little bit older. Now they let the contract expire. Yep. Now she signs Mrs. Her real name's Heidi Claus. She worked for Heineken, and now she's signs Mrs. Claus cards for card company.
I gotta know if
St. Pauli girl.
Yeah, remember that St. Pauli girl in the 80s, right?
Remember the St. Pauli girl? My nephew has that. They have like
Mookie
a cardboard.
Said the same thing. St. Pauli.
Yeah.
It's too. Yeah.
My nephew has that like cardboard cutout of her in his living room,
The St. Pauli girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like something a nephew would have.
Yep.
All right.
True story.
The Mensches sign for the clauses. Yes. I do the Mrs. Claus. That took a turn at the end I didn't expect.
Maybe Mrs. Claus. Maybe it's auto pen. Maybe
well, is it on card or is it sticker?
I don't know, but I think it's sticker.
You assume that it's easier to mail that to the North Pole than to have somebody go there.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we'll be back on the 22nd.
God willing.
Santa willing. Mickey Mantle willing. Babe Ruth willing. One more time, say goodbye to $7.2 million. The Babe Ruth is off the market. Hopefully,
for now,
I've heard a rumor, and I'll just put it on the record. I've heard a rumor that there might be another Babe Ruth coming on the market in the next year or so. So we'll see if that actually happens.
Yeah, I think I'd wait. I'd wait till the market kind of rebounds a little.
I guess the question.
If I was selling the card.
I guess what condition is it?
Yeah, that. I guess the guy that sold it for $7-something million probably didn't. He obviously didn't pay that, so he came out all right. Listen, REA did pretty well with the commission.
For REA, it's the best advertising you could have.
Yeah.
And SGC, top 3 of all time.
A lot of winners. A lot of winners with that card.
Winner, chicken dinner. All right, my friend.
Yeah.
John.
Chinese chicken, like the bare naked ladies used to sing. Chinese chicken.
Say goodbye, John.
Goodbye, John.
See you guys.